Welcome to the Credit Edge. Ideas on time and working for a living. Let's get started.
We often talk about the big, flashy trades in life, the massive career shifts, the huge investments, those moments of peak leverage.
Right, the moments that make headlines.
Exactly. But today, we're going to step back. We're going to look at the quiet engine of the economy and really of most people's lives. We are diving into a really powerful piece of writing that argues the most significant transactions happen in the quiet moments.
In the routine.
In the routine and in the hours we trade every single day. The author sets the stage with this necessary, stark, grounded truth. Let me just start us there.
Okay.
The day ends, but the pressure does not. The paycheck is already spoken for. The bills wait. The shifts return. The routine holds its shape even when you are tired of carrying it.
Wow. That hits hard.
It really does. And that opening passage, it sets the core tension we're examining today, a kind of persistent structural weight that applies to far more than just financial spreadsheets.
Just about life itself.
It is. So this deep dive is an in-depth look at what the essay calls the price of seeing clearly. It's a quiet examination of momentum, of systemic pressure, and of the currency of time itself.
Yeah.
This is tailored specifically for you, the listener, who values thorough, actionable insight, the kind that comes from understanding the costs you pay, not just the income you manage to earn.
And to really dissect this material properly, we need a robust framework. We can't approach this with just, abstract theory.
Right.
We are using what the author refers to as the credit edge philosophy as our analytical lens.
And I think it's important to clarify what that means. When you hear philosophy, don't think academic lecture.
No, not at all. This is a method of critical observation.
A way of looking.
A way of looking. The term credit edge itself is vital here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about your credit score.
No.
We're talking about finding the edge. That tiny margin where the system or the market or your own routine has leverage over you.
Ah, I see. The point of pressure.
The point of hidden risk and hidden return. Our mission is to figure out what is truly being traded. What is the hidden cost when we exchange our physical hours for currency?
Yeah.
We have to look closely at the pressure, the systems, and the underlying momentum that shapes the life of anyone who is trading their time for existence. The goal is to bring the unseen costs into clear view.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with that first foundational principle.
Let's do it.
So where does the essay begin this whole analysis?
Well, it defines its perspective immediately. It focuses on the reality of survival for most people who exchange labor for wages.
So it's not starting from theory.
No, it starts with necessity. It's very grounded.
Okay.
The central perspective is captured in this statement. For us, the working class, life is lived up close. We make choices under pressure. We adapt to the moment. We do what the day demands and hope the future will sort itself out.
Life is lived up close. I think that phrase right there is key. We need to spend some time on what that physical proximity to survival actually means for decision-making.
It means the horizon is short.
The next hour.
The next hour. The next shift. The next payment. When the essay says, looking too far ahead feels like a luxury, it's describing a systemic problem.
A problem born out of need.
Out of constant immediate need. If you only have a small window of capacity, say 48 hours until a bill is due, your decisions are tactical.
They have to be.
They have to be. They're immediate and they are reactive. They are about survival in the moment. Not next month, not next year. Right now.
So this short-term focus, which is, it's absolutely necessary for survival in the moment. You have to pay the rent. You have to get to work.
Of course.
That's the very thing that creates and sustains the larger systemic problem the essay wants us to examine.
Exactly.
It locks us into a survival loop where just adapting crowds out any kind of real strategy.
Precisely. And this reality connects immediately to the first and most critical principle of the credit edge framework.
Which is?
Time is the only real currency.
Okay, let's break that principle down because this is where the language of the essay shifts from just describing a situation to actually analyzing it.
Yeah, it gets mechanical here.
The principle states three things. Money stores labor. Debt borrows time. Wealth means owning your hours. If you don't get this relationship, the rest of the analysis kind of falls apart, right?
It does. Let's start with the first part. Money stores labor.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, historically, currency was developed to simplify barter. If you harvested, say, 3 baskets of apples, you exchanged those perishable apples for durable currency coins, bills.
Something that doesn't rot.
Exactly, something that represents the value of the work you did. So money is just a compact, non-perishable certificate of the time and effort you exerted.
It's a claim check on your past work.
A claim check. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so if the essay says our paycheck is already spoken for and the pressure's constant, the bills wait, the routine holds, what does that reveal about the value of the hours we are trading?
It reveals that you are trading your hours and receiving currency that you cannot store. You are immediately converting that stored labor, that claim check, into maintenance.
Housing, food, transportation.
Right. You never accumulate enough stored labor to purchase true choice, or what the principle calls owning your hours.
So you're trading future freedom for just continued momentum in the routine.
That's the trade. You're staying on the wheel.
I want to push back on that a little bit, though. Isn't that just the nature of work? I mean, doesn't everyone have bills to pay?
Everyone does, of course.
Yeah.
But the difference is the margin.
The buffer.
The buffer. For the person living up close, there is no margin. And that leads directly to the second part of the principle. Debt borrows time.
Explain that connection.
Think of it this way. When you take out a car loan, you aren't just promising to pay money back.
You're promising to work.
You're promising to pay 3 to 5 years worth of your future labor to the bank. You are literally mortgaging your future hours.
So if your paycheck is already spent before you even earn it,
which is the case when the bills wait and the routine holds,
then next week's time is already obligated to service the debt of this week's survival.
Your future self is financially bound to the system's momentum. You've already sold those future hours.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The essay's opening is a gentle but firm warning about that common phrase. Hope the future will sort itself out.
Right. We all say it.
We all do. But the author suggests this rarely works. Why?
Because the pressure is systemic, not accidental.
It's part of the design.
It is the natural consequence of having no margin, of living up close. When you live without that buffer, you have to constantly react. And the system relies on this reaction.
It counts on it.
It counts on it. The system knows that when you are tired of carrying the routine, you still have to carry it.
Because you have no other choice?
Because you have no stored labor, no currency, to buy yourself a momentary reprieve or a strategic pivot. You can't afford to stop.
So the immediate close-up life is, it's the necessary foundation for the broader systemic pressure to work effectively.
Yes, it's the fuel.
The constant need to adapt to the moment means you never have the quiet space you need to actually examine the whole system. The constant demand of the day ensures that long-term strategic questioning is crowded out by immediate tactical response.
And that crowded out space, that is the price of blindness.
Okay, so let's talk about that blindness. The essay transitions really beautifully from the crushing reality of the routine to what it calls the quiet beginning of awareness. It doesn't suggest a sudden dramatic epiphany, which is often what popular culture sells us.
No lightning bolt moment.
No. It describes a slow realization, something that starts small.
Yeah, it's subtle.
It says, awareness begins quietly. You notice the small habits, the shortcuts you take just to get through the week.
And this is a crucial pivot point in the essay. It's where it introduces the second principle. Awakening is the foundation. First, see the cost. Every price we pay hides another one beneath it. If we think about those small habits and shortcuts, they aren't evidence of some moral failure.
You're not lazy.
You're not lazy. They are the natural consequence of operating without margin. You're exhausted.
But the essay forces us to analyze their function, right?
Right. Those shortcuts, it says, are decisions that keep you afloat but never move you forward.
Ooh.
It's a transaction. You're trading a sliver of future direction for immediate minor comfort.
Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. Think about the hours spent scrolling mindlessly on your phone because you're too mentally exhausted to engage in anything productive.
Or ordering expensive high-cost delivery because the capacity to cook has been just drained by the day's demand.
Exactly. That's the trade.
I can relate to that completely. I call that the tax of exhaustion.
The tax of exhaustion. I like that.
When you're wiped out, you pay a premium for comfort. And that premium is often paid in two currencies, money and future momentum. You trade minor, immediate comfort like an extra 30 minutes of sleep by skipping breakfast prep for future stagnation.
Because that lack of routine discipline is cumulative. It adds up.
It's the entropy of survival.
That's a great phrase. The entropy of survival. Those shortcuts feel necessary, but they become a form of debt.
A debt against your future self.
If the core problem is a lack of time and capacity, then trading a moment of future direction for immediate comfort is a subtle form of system compliance.
You're choosing the system.
You are prioritizing the maintenance of the routine, however tiring it is, over the strategic disruption of that routine.
And the debt of those shortcuts accumulates.
And that is the price beneath the price. That's the hidden cost.
So if we've identified these habits that are keeping us afloat but not moving us forward, the natural next question, which the essay immediately tackles, is
Who benefits?
who is actually sitting on the other side of this trade? Who benefits from my exhaustion?
And that's the profound shift in perspective that clarity brings. It changes the focus from, I am struggling. My struggle benefits something else. The essay forces you to look at the mechanics of the system. It says, you begin to see who benefits when you rush, who gains when you stay quiet, who relies on your routine to keep their system running.
And this brings us squarely to the principle that systems profit from compliance.
Systems grow when we do not notice them. We need to define what the system measures as profit.
Okay.
It doesn't need us to be happy or fulfilled. It just needs us to be predictable, reliable, and compliant.
So if the system profits from compliance, what is the actual currency of that profit? Is it just money?
No, not at all. The currency is predictability and uninterrupted momentum. The system thrives on the fact that you will show up for your shift, that you will pay your obligated bills even if they hurt,
And that you'll take the shortcut.
and that you'll take the shortcut that allows you to repeat the cycle rather than the one that allows you to change it. Your time is fungible, reliable, and leveraged.
So every person who complies ensures the continued stability of the structure that relies on their hours.
Yes, they're a cog in the machine, a predictable cog.
That's a powerful and kind of unsettling idea. Let's explore the implications of this indifference. Could the opposite be true?
What do you mean?
Is it possible that the system requires us to be tired, hurried, and focused only on the day's demands? Because if we had the energy and time to look deeply, to truly question the job, the debt structure, the convenience costs, would this systemic momentum slow down?
The source material suggests the answer is a profound yes.
Really?
The system's profit is stable momentum. If everyone is rushing, no one has the capacity to ask the questions that change direction, as the essay later puts it.
A hurried person is a predictable person.
A very predictable person. The energy you spend rushing is energy you cannot spend on examination.
Which is the system's primary defense mechanism.
The benefit the system receives is the surrender of your future optionality. When you are tired and rushed, you default to the easiest choice,
Just always.
the one that maintains the existing structure. Always.
So the essential, fundamental, hidden trade-off is defined here. This is really the core of the essay's message.
I think so.
It is not just about the hours you worked. That's the surface trade.
That's what shows up on your pay stub.
The real cost is the hours you gave away without noticing.
And we have to dissect what those hours given away really are.
Okay.
They are lost capacity for self-direction. If you spend 3 hours a week sitting quietly, analyzing your budget, learning a new skill, or just getting essential strategic rest,
Those hours are an investment.
they're an investment in future control. The hours given away are the time lost to distraction, exhaustion, or necessary maintenance that never moves you forward.
The busy work of survival.
The busy work of survival. They are the hours that could have been used for learning, creating, or truly resting, which are all vital ingredients for change. They represent surrendered control.
And I think it's so important to say the goal here is absolutely not to assign blame.
Not at all.
It's not a moral judgment on past choices. It is purely observation.
Yeah.
Recognizing the systemic exploitation of human exhaustion is the beginning of protection.
The system is indifferent. It just exploits the natural consequence of human exhaustion and necessity. Realizing the system doesn't care about you is actually step one.
Step one toward protecting yourself and beginning to reclaim those hours.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we need to shift the focus from the individual realization of this cost
Right. From the aha moment.
to the structural reasons why the routine holds its shape so tightly. This is where the essay really analyzes system behavior and mechanics.
Yeah, it zooms out. The author states clearly, systems rely on momentum. They rely on us reacting instead of examining.
Which reveals that the system's primary defense isn't some act of repression. It's not a conspiracy.
No, it's just physics.
It's maintaining speed and inertia.
Exactly.
So when we view this through our analytical lens of time and hidden costs, we realize that speed is actively used as a tool of the system.
Yes. The source confirms this. They rely on speed because speed keeps us from asking the questions that change direction.
Let's define capacity here. Capacity isn't just physical strength, right? It's mental margin.
Mental margin is a perfect way to put it.
So I want to ask, if I am rushing constantly, I don't have the bandwidth to formulate complex strategic questions. I'm only focused on tactical, immediate problems. How does that tactical focus prevent strategic thinking?
It creates cognitive load. Every small tactical decision, which route to take to work, what to grab for dinner, how to manage the next email, it all consumes mental resources.
It's like having too many tabs open on your computer.
That's a great analogy. And when you have no buffer, no extra RAM, you can't engage in higher level analysis. You lose the capacity to ask
The big questions.
the big questions. Is this job still serving my long-term goal? What would happen if I took a calculated risk to switch fields? How much time will this purchase actually cost me in labor over its entire lifespan?
Those are questions that require quiet.
They require mental quiet and capacity, both of which speed actively eliminates.
And the consequence is that compliance replaces awareness when there is no time to stop and examine.
Yes, if you're exhausted and hurried, you will default to the path of least resistance.
Which is the established routine.
Always. The system doesn't need us to fail. It just needs us to comply with its speed.
Because that speed ensures the required momentum remains unbroken.
Our necessary focus on the immediate transaction distracts us from the trajectory of the entire system.
It's so easy to think of this compliance as, a purely personal failure, a failure of willpower or discipline.
Yeah, we beat ourselves up about it.
But the essay makes this powerful claim. The same principles of momentum that govern our exhausted days are intentionally replicated in the massive, indifferent world of global markets.
It's the same pattern, just at a different scale.
The source states, markets move the same way life does. Short-term movement hides long-term truth.
This suggests that the systemic mechanisms of distraction and momentum are at play regardless of the scale, whether it's billions of dollars being traded or just the structure of a single working day.
So let's break down the components of distraction that the essay lists and apply them to both contexts.
Okay, the author names 3 phenomena that hide that long-term truth. First, noise becomes distraction.
Okay, in financial markets, that's obvious. Noise is the short-term volatility, the social media chatter.
The constant stream of headlines that distract serious investors from the underlying fundamentals, the actual value of a company.
And if you focus only on the noise, you miss the real trajectory.
You get shaken out of good positions.
Okay, so in our personal routines, what's the noise?
The noise is the constant flow of demands, notifications, minor crises, and urgent tasks that distract us from the long-term truth of our own trajectory.
It's the constant feeling that everything has to be done now?
Yes, we spend all our capacity managing the noise, the urgent, and we lose track of the important. The urgent noise is the friction of the system working to keep us compliant.
Got it. What's the second component?
Confidence becomes leverage.
Okay, in markets, overconfidence, the belief that the upward trend will continue forever, can lead to excessive risk-taking.
Right, and leverage. Often borrowing money to amplify gains, which is fine, until the underlying reality shifts.
And in personal life, how does confidence become leverage?
Confidence in the routine. The belief that things will eventually work out or I can handle this pressure indefinitely.
I see.
That becomes leverage against our future selves. We leverage our health, our sleep, our relationships, our time reserves.
Believing we can always pay them back later.
We grow confident in our ability to maintain the unsustainable speed of the system.
But I want to pause on that for a second. That confidence often comes from past survival, doesn't it? If I survive 5 years of burning the candle at both ends, I gain a dangerous confidence that I can keep doing it.
You do. But how does that confidence turn into leverage?
How?
Because you stop building margin. If you believe you can handle anything, you stop saving time, you stop saving money, and you stop investing in resilience.
You take on more debt or more demanding work because your confidence convinces you that your capacity is infinite.
You are leveraging your future health and time against immediate gain or just immediate necessity.
Which leads directly to the core danger.
And leverage becomes danger when reality shifts.
So when the market finally recognizes the underlying truth, a fundamental economic change, that excessive leverage turns toxic, fast.
Very fast.
And applied personally, the system leverages our exhaustion and compliance until a reality shift happens.
A health crisis, an unexpected bill, a layoff.
And suddenly, the confidence we relied on to carry the routine is gone. The leverage we took out against our future time makes the danger acute.
We crash.
We crash because we never had the capacity to build a margin because we were too busy complying with the system's speed.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what is the long-term truth of our trajectory that the noise in our routines is hiding?
What is it?
It's often the truth that the current path is deeply unsustainable. It's the truth that the debt we avoid facing is growing faster than our income.
Or, more subtly,
It's the truth that we are investing our most precious resources, our attention and our hours, into something that provides a smaller and smaller return on our personal control.
the essay concludes this section with the quiet warning that I think is really important.
Yeah.
What is unseen is never unimportant. It simply waits.
The hidden cost simply waits for the moment of that reality shift, the unseen debt, the unquestioned job, the repeated routine.
Each one carries a return,
Immediate survival, familiarity,
but each one also carries a cost.
future control, future freedom. The indifference of the system means it doesn't care when the cost is paid,
Only that the leverage is maintained.
until the system needs to cash in.
Yeah.
The system is indifferent to your struggle, making awareness your only true protection.
So after showing us the mechanism of system momentum and all these hidden costs, the essay pivots to the purpose of awareness itself.
And it addresses the discomfort head on. Because clarity, real clarity, often hurts.
It's not easy.
No. The source notes, clarity is not comfortable. It is not soft. It is not easy on the hours you have already lived.
Why does seeing the cost clearly feel so hard? If knowledge is power, why does the clarity sting so much?
That's a great question.
I think it's precisely because we have to confront the hours we already surrendered. We have to look back at the years spent in the routine, taking the shortcuts, complying with the speed.
And realize the depth of the unnoticed trade.
Right. I wonder, what is the specific cost of acknowledging past blindness? What do we lose?
We lose the comfort of self-deception. That passive hope that the future will sort itself out is replaced by the demanding reality that we have to step in and apply direction.
And that transition from hoping to knowing, from victimhood to authorship, is painful.
It's painful because it requires accountability for past decisions we made under pressure.
Even though we're just trying to survive.
That passive hope is a coping mechanism for the exhaustion the system creates. It acts as a shield against the realization that those hours are gone.
But the essay argues that even this difficult confrontation serves a vital function,
The discomfort is necessary.
because the truth needs room to be seen.
Right.
But the act of seeing clearly is defined not as a resolution, but as the beginning of action. The essay pivots from the pain of realization to the power of definition.
Yes, this is the turn toward action.
The quote is definitive. Seeing clearly does not remove the cost, it names it. And naming the cost is the first step toward control.
This is the third pillar of the framework. Awareness is reclamation. True freedom starts by seeing the patterns.
Okay, what does that mean in practice? Naming the cost.
A moment you name the trade, you formalize the hidden transaction, it stops being a routine and starts being a choice.
Give me an example.
Okay, instead of just feeling perpetually busy, you name the cost.
Uh-huh.
I am trading 2 hours every Saturday morning running errands for 5 hours of peace because I failed to consolidate my shopping during the week.
So you're moving from a vague discomfort of being rushed.
To the specific knowledge of a flawed process. You've named it, you can see it.
And if the system relies on us rushing and staying quiet, naming the cost is the equivalent of slowing down the system and speaking up.
You reclaim the ground because you define the terms of the transaction.
For our listener, this feels like the most actionable piece of insight so far. How do we start naming the costs?
We reverse the calculation. Instead of tracking money, we track time's return on investment.
Like a time ledger.
A mental or actual time ledger.
Yeah.
You log major recurring activities and assign them a cost in future hours or capacity, not just dollars.
So when you see in cold, hard terms that the hours you gave away without noticing funded the system's momentum.
You can choose to defund it.
And once that cost is named, the essay details this triple outcome of clarity. This is like the blueprint for reversing the momentum.
Yes. The first step is what we've been discussing. Clarity exposes cost. It forces the hidden price of time and compliance into view.
And the second step?
Awareness restores choice. This is the logical consequence of exposing the cost. If I don't know the cost, I can't choose differently.
But once I see it,
If I see the system relies on my hurried compliance, I can choose intentional slowness. If I see the crushing value of the hours I gave away, I can choose to protect the hours I have left.
So choice is reclaimed sovereignty over your time and attention.
Exactly.
I think we need a specific, practical example of how choice is restored here. Let's go back to the idea of a debt borrowing time.
Okay.
If I name the cost of my car loan, say $500 a month, and I realize that represents 40 hours of my labor every single month for the next 3 years,
Right.
the choice is restored because I can now compare that specific 40 hours of my life to the alternatives. Maybe that car was worth it.
Right, maybe it wasn't.
But seeing the cost in hours allows me to question the next major purchase far more critically.
Exactly. It changes the nature of the transaction. You stop asking, can I afford the monthly payment?
And you start asking,
Is this item worth 40 hours of my life every month for the next 3 years? That's the restoration of choice.
okay, so clarity exposes cost, awareness restores choice. What's the third step?
The third step, which is the ultimate goal, is that direction returns control.
What's the difference between choice and direction?
Choice without direction is just optionality. It doesn't lead anywhere. But if I have clarity on the cost and I use that awareness to make a choice,
A deliberate choice.
a deliberate choice to resist speed, to build margin, to invest in stored labor, that choice gives me a direction, a deliberate path away from the momentum of the system.
And that direction is what restores control over my own trajectory rather than allowing the system's momentum to define it.
Yes.
So the function of clarity isn't about fixing the past. It's about giving those hours meaning.
The essay assures us that the process gives those hours meaning by showing you what shaped your days when you believed you were only surviving them.
So the struggle wasn't random.
It was structured. And understanding that structure is what changes the narrative. You transition from someone being carried blindly by the current to someone who understands how to read the current.
And eventually paddle towards shore.
That understanding is the first act of control.
So we've traveled from the crushing pressure of the daily routine through the painful process of seeing hidden costs, all the way to the active work of reclaiming control through awareness.
It's been a journey.
Now we have to synthesize the credit edge framework using the language of the essay, moving toward the final principle.
Peace compounds.
I like the sound of that. The essay argues that the ultimate goal of awareness isn't necessarily maximum wealth or escaping work entirely.
Right. It's not about becoming a billionaire.
It's control over one's time and experience. The financial return is secondary to the internal return, the ability to resist the pressure.
Peace compounds. This means discipline builds freedom, moment by moment. Time pays the dividend. Awareness brings the return.
So this piece is the rhythm found in the everyday.
And that rhythm is only possible when the systemic pressure has been named and control restored.
Okay, so we have to define what this compounding piece looks like in practice.
If the system relies on exhaustion leading to compliance, peace is the intentional creation of margin.
The buffer.
The buffer. When you resist the shortcut and cook dinner instead of ordering takeout, you save money, yes. But more importantly,
You regain control.
you regain a small sense of internal control and capacity. And that saved capacity compounds a little bit every day.
You know, the system tries to distract us with short-term, high-intensity noise, the exact opposite of compounding.
That's a great point.
Compounding requires patience, quiet consistency, and long-term vision. All things the routine speed actively eliminates.
Yeah.
If I am constantly rushing, my decisions are volatile and immediate. If I slow down and gain peace, my decisions become stable and strategic. And that stability over time pays massive internal dividends.
It's the difference between investing in a volatile, risky stock based on market noise.
And consistently contributing to a low-cost index fund.
The index fund is the equivalent of compounding peace. It requires link mental labor, less maintenance, and provides a steadier return.
So when the essay talks about peace, it's talking about a steady state where we are no longer rushing blindly.
We are investing in the hours we keep, not just the hours we trade. This investment, the investment of time and awareness, prevents the constant draining rush.
And that is the positive return on the investment of awareness.
It is. And we have to reiterate the calm, steady understanding offered by the essay. The world doesn't change.
But your meaning does.
Your meaning does. The system remains indifferent.
And that indifference is so critical to remember. If we're waiting for external conditions to soften, for the boss to be nicer, for the bills to magically shrink,
For the government to step in and fix the leverage.
we will be waiting indefinitely.
The system is designed to run efficiently. And that efficiency naturally exploits your lack of margin. Your struggle is simply irrelevant to the system's operation.
And that indifference is precisely why awareness is your only true protection.
The clarity has to come internally.
The essay manages expectations so beautifully here, delivering profound relief in its final claim. Seeing clearly will not fix everything. It is not meant to.
It is a limited, focused goal. The function of clarity isn't to remove the struggle.
It's to illuminate it.
It simply stops you from living blind. That shift from blindness to sight is the only true precondition for reclaiming your hours, restoring your choices, and setting your own direction.
The journey outlined in this essay is difficult.
It is. It requires the acceptance of past trades and the difficult work of naming costs. But the reward is singular and internal.
It's the end of that constant feeling of chasing an ever-receding horizon.
Yeah. The final conclusion ties the entire reflection together. It shows the relationship between truth, space, and stability.
What does it say?
Peace arrives when the truth finally has room to be seen.
When you stop crowding your days with noise and speed, the fundamental truth of your trajectory finally emerges.
And that clarity allows for genuine internal peace.
This entire deep dive has focused on the hours we gave away without noticing, the hours lost to compliance, speed, and that mistaken belief that the future would just sort itself out.
We've learned that the first act of control is simply naming the cost.
So we want to leave you, the listener, with a challenging, specific thought for this week.
Okay.
If we take just one actionable insight from the essay, it is the imperative to intentionally resist the system's speed and create margin.
Create that buffer.
Create the buffer. This week, commit to taking back just 1 hour of true examination, an hour where you intentionally create the space and resist the momentum of the routine.
And in that hour,
What specific, unquestioned routine, what small habit, what debt you avoid calculating, or what repetitive task you feel forced to complete will you finally name?
create the room.
Resist the speed.
And let the truth finally have space to be seen.
Thanks for listening to The Credit Edge. Remember, your time matters. See you next episode.